Okay, guys, it's me, Troy Dellinger, and I talked about an evangelical series that I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started. To better understand, I'm going to really go back all the way to the roots. I'm going to go all the way back to the first century, and as I go forward in the series, I'm going to talk about certain teachings. I'm going to be talking about church history. It's going to be like a whole hodgepodge of it. So we're going to be talking about different theological issues that went on in the church. Now, we know that in the New Testament there was warnings about heresies. The Corinthians got rebuked about certain heresies. The churches in Revelation got rebuked about certain heresies. Jesus was warning them about, false prophetesses going into the churches, teaching that it's okay to eat things sacrificed to idols. So we had things like that. We know that the apostles said that there would be grievous wolves that would come and not spare the flock. Now let's take a look at that scripture. It says here in Acts 20, verse 29, "For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock." So he's saying that after his departure, that grievous wolves would come in. So he's worrying about wolves in sheep clothing and false prophets, false teachers, and things of that sort that would come into the church and deceive many. And this started as early as the first century. There were these people that were identified with Christians. They were going with the apostles. Some of them went into backsliding. Some of them went into error and false teaching. Not all of these teachings are explicitly detailed in the scripture, but some of them are and some of them aren't. There was various different heresies. People denying the resurrection, saying that the resurrection has come already, and things of that sort. And we also believe that there may be indications of possible Gnosticism around near the first century, where the Apostle John was saying that there was some that were saying that Jesus has not come in the flesh, and this obviously applies to anybody that doesn't have the correct identity of Jesus, saying that it's the wrong Jesus in the flesh. But it's also talking about, just in general, that Jesus is not coming in the flesh. Like it was almost like this illusion during that time period that, people were saying that, Jesus was just a spirit. Like that Gnosticism was a heresy that taught, all physical matter is evil. They taught that Jesus was just an illusion, that he was a divine being that came and was an illusion that was not, that was not, they taught that he was not a physical person, but was a spiritual person, only a spiritual person, that did not even die on the cross, that was all an illusion. Now, obviously, that's heresy, so the apostles, they had to warn about that and different things. I think that I actually have the hiccups. But anyways, so there was also the Judaizing heresies and things like that. So we see as early as the first century that the apostles were warning about false teachings and stuff going to the church. Now we see these groups that come in really around the second century, and they call themselves the Catholics. And obviously, this is a biblical. This word, the root word of this word, has good connotations to it because it means universal, which is talking about the universal church. But not everything that puts a label on itself means it's a true church. Just like there's the Church of Christ, the United Church of Christ. The United Church of Christ, they've got homosexual pastors in that church, and they got lesbian pastors. So just because you put a label doesn't mean it's biblical. But obviously this universal church that they identify themselves as, that they put the label on themselves, they would stand up for certain biblical teachings. They believed the deity of Christ. They believed in the Godhead or the Trinity. They stood against certain heresies. They stood against Gnosticism. They were also taught. They were also a lot of people. One of the biggest things people like to say, they were the students of the apostles, which may be true. A lot of these guys probably were students of the apostles. Like, we talk about the Clement of Rome. We talk about Polycarp and guys like that. And yeah, these guys were students of the apostles. But my whole big thing is that just because you're a student of the apostle, obviously that's a good sign. But we gotta look at other things too. Not who were they taught by, but what are these guys individually teaching apart from the apostles? And that's my whole big thing. Jesus was a disciple and student of Jesus. So again, what I'm saying is that these disciples, these early apostles, were warning that there was some people that were identified into their churches that were turning away. So, I don't know everything about what these early Catholics in the 2nd century taught. I think some of it may have been bad, and maybe some of it was good. But again, we got to be careful. And now I'm going to go further into this series about how the Catholic Church, as we know today, developed. Thank you.